Hello guys, so I want to discuss this issue that I've been seeing a lot on my social media, and this is not the first time I'm coming across this from Catholic. Just to let you know that this video is not to say that I hate Catholics or otherwise. It is just to bring our knowledge to the truth. Okay. And the issue is that Catholics believe that Mary is the living ark of the new tabernacle or of the New Testament. And so we will look at it from the Bible if that is true. And to understand it, we would have to understand the construction of the ark, why the ark was constructed, and to whom the ark was constructed for. So I'm not going to be reading the Bible, but I'm just going to be leaving the Bible verses. If you want to understand the construction of the ark and what was in the ark, you can read Exodus chapter 40 verse 20 to 21. It gave a exact description of the ark, and in verse 21 of it you will see that God told Moses to place the mercy seat above the ark. So which means that the ark is not complete without the mercy seat. So if you want to say that Mary is the living testament or the living ark now, you are simply saying that Mary is God, because on the mercy seat it is actually God that was there. So and everything that you see in Old Testament, everything you see in the Old Testament, it was a representation of what is it in heaven. So the tabernacle, the priest work, and everything is what is in heaven. So because God wanted to live among men, he wanted to be in the midst of the camp of the children of Israel, he had to make a replica of it. So the gold and everything is not the actual tabernacle, it is a representation of the tabernacle in heaven. And so to show you that God is actually on the mercy seat, we will look at we're going to be looking at you can read 1 Samuel chapter 4, and you can just read the whole story, and it is about the Israelites and the Philistines. When they went to war, the Philistines killed a lot of Israelites, and the Israelites went back and they took the ark, that if they have the ark in their camp, God can go with them to the war. And so when they brought the ark to the camp, there was a lot of noise, and the noise was so loud that the Philistines had to ask what was going on. And when they knew that the ark was brought into the camp, guess what they said? They said, God Almighty is now in the midst of the Israel. So which means that even the Philistines knows that the ark was God himself among men. And also another Bible verse that I want us to see is from Psalm 99 verse 1. And the psalmist was saying that he is seated in the midst of the cherubims. Let the earth be moved. So even the Bible describes that God sits in the midst of the cherubims. You can find it in Isaiah, you can find it in Revelation, you can find it in Ezekiel. And all of these Bible verses describe that God sits in the midst of the two cherubim. So one on this side and one on this side. And that is exactly what the mercy seat was built like and was placed on the ark. So God was in their midst, ruling in their midst through the mercy seat. And to prove to you that God was on the mercy seat, you can read Numbers 7 verse 8 and 9. God actually spoke to Moses from in between the cherubim, because the cherubim were covering the mercy seat. So God spoke to Moses through the midst of the cherubim. So you see that the mercy seat and the ark was not just constructed, it carries God. It brought God into the midst of the Israelites. So when you say that Mary is the living ark, you are simply saying that Mary is God. And whatever you have in the Old Testament, you have it in the New Testament, because the Old Testament is a transition to the New Testament. So the blood, the sprinkling of the blood and everything you have in the Old Testament was what Jesus came to do on the cross in the New Testament. And in Hebrew, verse 9, you see that the Apostle Paul was describing everything that happens in the Old Testament with the priest and everything. So Jesus became the priest, became the lamp, and became the tabernacle. And when you read from Exodus chapter 40, you see that after the ark was constructed and the mercy seat was placed above the ark had to be covered. So it was not everyone that have access to the ark. Not everyone that could see the ark. So when Jesus died on the cross, the veil got torn. So now everyone have access to Jesus. Everyone have access to God the Father. So if you say that Mary is the living ark, you are saying that Mary went to the cross, Mary died, and it was by her blood that we are saved. But no, Jesus was the one who went to the cross. It was his blood. He took his blood to heaven. You can read the whole of Hebrew. You can read towards the ending of John. You will see that Jesus had to take himself to the presence of God and offered his blood as the sacrifice. So he became the living priest for us, yet he became the lamb that was slain for us. So Mary has nothing to do with it. And a lot of Bible verse that they use is when Mary went to the hill to meet Elizabeth and all of that. It's just drawn to my conclusion that Catholics do not actually have revelation of God. They do not have revelation of Jesus. They were taught because they all say the same thing. And it is not, what I'm saying is not coming from a place of hatred, because I have absolutely no hate in my heart towards anyone. So it means that you do not have the revelation of Jesus. You do not have the revelation of the cross. You are only taught. So because you were taught this, and then because when I discuss with all of them, they all have the same thing to say. If you actually have revelation of whatever you are saying, you should be able to come up with a light. You should be able to come up with a reasoning about it from the Bible. So Mary cannot be the new ark. And then you use Revelation to say that the ark that was missing on earth is now in heaven, was found in heaven in Revelation. That is absolutely incorrect. If you read from Hebrews chapter 10 verse 1, you will see that whatever Moses made was for this earth. It was not to be taken to heaven, because whatever is in heaven supersedes what is on earth. And when you die, you do not go to heaven with even your physical body. You take on a spiritual body. So if your physical body is not worthy to go to heaven, how much more can you say that the ark was taken to heaven? Jesus is now the testament that we have, not Mary. And I hope that we can actually come to the knowledge of Christ through revelation and not just what we are taught. Thank you.